on the phone all day long. It's like, okay, how we're going to do this. All right. Aloha, everybody. Another interview across the world. And I'm super stoked to have Belar over here from the Euro Tour. We haven't caught up in so long. It's been such a long time. And of course, my first question was like, today, a year ago, this whole thing started to come down. And I was updating my event calendar. Races were getting pushed further and further back into the year. And of course, I had to think of you a lot. I was like thinking like, oh my gosh, these race organizers. Tell me a little bit, how was that whole thing a year ago unfolding for you when you must have realized that the Euro Tour might not look the same like it used to do? What was the first call of action and all of that?
Yeah, thanks, Mike, for having us. It's amazing. I mean, like exactly 1 year ago, we were a week away from lockdown in Spain. So if you would have asked me the same question exactly a year ago, I would have told you, no, we're fine. And then a week after, everything changed. You know,
Wow.
we were lucky we were able to run 4 events last year. But I mean, I tell you, last summer was a nightmare. It was one of the hardest years for us as far as trying to reorganize everything. Because, of course, when something like this happened, we didn't cancel everything right away. We tried to get reorganized, but we did it once, we did it twice, you know. And finally, we make a lot of postponements to this year, to 2021. But like I said, luckily enough, we 4 events did run, and you know, of course, participation was limited by a lot of the restrictions that many countries had.
Yeah,
but, definitely a challenge. Yeah.
So what happened? Like you have like all the race organizers from their towns here on the phone all day long. It's like, okay, how we're going to do this, and they're freaking out, or 1,000 emails and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would say there were 2 attitudes about this. There was the organizers or the event that right away said, you know what, this looks impossible. We want to go for the following year, and we had a few of those.
Yeah.
But they quickly realized, so they said, look, we really can't go into this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the other people that at all costs they wanted to run the event, and like I said, some of them we actually did run. We even ran one of our biggest events in France, and of course the participation was limited, but the event ran fantastic.
Nice.
I mean, it was the 2 attitudes. It was the person that was right away said, look, this is impossible. We cannot do this, and there had to be a lot of, you know, by our side, a lot of finesse and trying to reassure people that, you know, what we could do, and people that would attend and stuff like that. And there was the other ones that they say, okay, how do we do it? You know, how do we make it happen? So it was interesting, but I have to say that, you know, in 90% of the cases, I was quite impressed with everybody and with all the partners we had over the years, and how everybody reacted, and they also supported us, and we were able to do some things. And of course, you had some that, you know, they could have done it better. They already had some troubles to begin with, and they used the COVID as an excuse, because COVID was, at the end of the day, was a great excuse for everything, right? Like, it's like, oh, you know, it's COVID, so I cannot make it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then to somehow, yeah. So good things worked out, and now we can look hopefully at 2021. I see a lot of dates are coming out. We have the SUP Alps Trophy in Germany, and Austria, Italy got saved. We have some Austrian races. The Swiss are active. Speaking of Swiss, you're starting your this year's race in May in Switzerland, which is super cool. I like to see that. Going over here, I'm just looking at your race calendar here on my other screen, and then we have all known races like Namur, the Bilbao. We're definitely looking forward to that one. That's always a big one. We're going more like I see like Austria and Germany is in there. That's really cool. So you added some new races there. I see some ones that we haven't had before.
Yeah, it's funny, when we started doing the calendar, we waited quite a bit. Traditionally, normally in November we would be ready to announce the calendar, but this year, you know, as you know, November, December were some of the worst months. So we actually released the calendar by mid-December, and it was a huge challenge, just because trying to plan for 2021. What we didn't want to announce something that, you know, 2 months later we had to touch again. But there was a lot of uncertainty. But we actually had a lot of people that wanted to do things, and of course, you know, you start with 40 events, and then you finish with 15, because you have to fulfill the commitments, and you have to you know, sign the contracts and go all the way, you know. But we're very happy that we had a lot of exciting partners, and many of those are new. And to kind of go over them, if you want, we started in Switzerland, which is something we've been wanting to do an event in Switzerland for a long time. We did
Mm-hmm.
one from the French side a few years ago that we crossed over to Switzerland, and it was a big success. And but we never really had one strictly in Switzerland. And as you know, and many of your viewers know as well, like there's a huge potential. And there's a lot of participants in Switzerland, and it's
Absolutely.
a fantastic place to do an event.
And it's an all-inclusive race there too.
Yeah, so our partners at the airports, they have a lot of experience running events.
Yeah.
And we're very excited to be working with them because they have such a professional organization.
Yeah. Nice.
They're very into it, and they're very much looking forward to welcoming international paddlers. So it's even though it's the first one, it's in our eyes, it's going to be there's no better place to start at the moment.
Yeah, and then I see you also have included here the ICF World Championships over in Hungary.
Yes. Yeah, we are working. We're working with them in a full partnership for their event. They approached us late last year, and they talked about the World Championships that were going to take place in Hungary. Of course, we're always open to working with everybody. The same, I always tell the same. We don't belong to any federation. We are an independent private company, and we work with both with ISA and ICF. But ICF did approach us and say, look, we want to work with you guys in our World Championships event. And I said, look, what do you guys have in mind? What's the event? And after talking several meetings and stuff, it was pretty positive. And then we signed a partnership to work on the World Championship in Hungary, which, as you know, Hungary is a huge country for paddling.
Yeah,
paddling in Hungary is like soccer in Spain. I mean, it's crazy.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they're really, the partners in Hungary are super strong, and of course they're putting their name behind it. So it's
And you have a big price tag. Do you have a good price tag on there? 30 grand in prize money. That's more than twice from everything else.
Yeah.
It's the ticket. That's
prize money of the year. So it's they're going to have 3 events. Normally we always run one event, but we work it out with them, understanding that it is a World Championship event and their end. And they have 3 different disciplines. They wanted to do long distance, technical race, and sprints.
Yeah.
And we're going to partner with them and then provide logistic support. And we're going to help them out with the media as well, even though they have a fantastic media team. We have resources for them. And it's like I said, it's a full ICF event, but it's we're partnering with them to try to assist them in every way possible, especially logistics, which is something that it's always challenging in SUP, and we're very happy with that.
Nice. You actually talked about something interesting coming up here, like about the paddlers in Hungary. And this is something that came up earlier, that like we see a very strong paddle community and very strong paddlers coming out of Eastern Europe in general, because the sport of paddling there is generally very well nurtured. Are you expecting some sort of a little bit of a rotation in the top tier of the paddle athletes, where maybe the Australians and the Hawaiians and the Americans are getting a run for their money here coming up in the next few years?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, there's a lot more countries. We're having our first event in Russia in September as well, and then you'll be amazed of the community of paddlers that they have over there. And keep in mind that all those paddlers, they have huge federations. They put a lot of resources for these paddlers, and there's a lot of sprinters that are coming out. There's a lot of people that are crossing over from other disciplines like C1, that we have very good cases in our sport, like Jim Terrell or Larry Kane or Tommy Boudet, that they cross over from disciplines like that, from C1, and they be fantastic paddlers and done lots of achievements. So we're going to see even more, because, I mean, keep in mind that we have gold medalists and other people that are maybe looking at SUP and say, okay, well, maybe I'll give it a try. It's I think in Hungary, there's one of the cool things about the format that the ICF is running, that we like that from the start, is it's an open event. So there's no qualification needed. So anybody can show up and do the race, which is, for us, was very important, because all of our events are always open. Every year we get some emails saying, how do I qualify for the Euro Tour? And we always say the same: just show up, sign up, and then you're good to go. There's no qualification, and this is SUP being a very small sport. We always thought it was very important to keep it open. If we start closing up something that is already very small. A lot of people might look like, these people, they kind of run a club, but they don't want to let anybody in. So that's the cool thing.
Yeah,
so
that's how SUP always been. That's what we like about SUP. It's like, it's a very inclusive sport.
Yeah, exactly. And the nice thing in Hungary, I think we're going to see a lot of the Eastern European countries that we probably haven't seen them compete a lot. Like sometimes we had events in Germany where a lot of people from Ukraine, from Russia, from people, Czech Republic is another big one that we might have not seen them internationally as much. They did show up to a lot of those places, especially because of geography. And this year, the ICF will be a big deal for that. So I think they're gonna get a run for the money. We have very good paddlers and very experienced ones. So to me, I don't think we're gonna see a huge upset at the top on the winning side. We have very experienced ones, but I think we're gonna see some names that nobody knew anything about that they're gonna be right there.
Yeah, it seems like a little bit that like Eastern Europe seems just to, or maybe just seem to awake within the last 2 or 3 years tops into the paddle sports, or they've done it without anybody knowing about it. But it just seems like it's a lot of it comes throughout the woodwork. So I'm very excited to see what's going to transpire this year and see what's going on. And you have like in Eastern Europe, you have the Czech Paddle Fest. There following the ICF, and then you go to Greece, back to Germany, and then I see like your finale, so to speak, is in Madeira, a place with very steep coastlines.
We have 2 cool events. Well, the finale for the Grand Slam is in Madeira, and it's not really a final because it's not like the title actually, or probably not going to be decided on that event. You know, it's a cumulative ranking, so probably it would be decided by then. But Madeira is a fantastic place. Actually, they're not that far away from the Canary Islands, so they're almost our neighbors here, where I live. And it's a really, really interesting place. The paddlers over there there's not too many, but there's definitely some very enthusiastic people. And we're having a really cool solution, which is we're going to Lisbon with all the equipment, and we're setting up a container from Lisbon to Madeira to take all the gear. So it's going to be nice. Logistically pretty cool, because the paddlers can all fly into Madeira, and we're going to have all the gear already there. So it's going to be so much fun. And we have one event in Russia, literally on the other side of if you could call it Europe, right on the other side.
Yeah. So much fun. I wish I could participate in this and fly around with you guys. And it's so nice how you always take care of the logistics. I mean, from day one, that was one of the big selling points. You drove around Europe with your trailer and get everybody's pedals and gear from one to one. And I think it's that's just such a huge point for the success of this tour, I would also think. It's
funny how we started in 2015 with a trailer. It was back that year. I remember traveling with Sony Honchide and Lina Agaitis, and we were just traveling with the SIC team back then. And I had a trailer with me, and then it was the first unofficial year of the Eurotour. And then quickly I realized that the logistics were huge. So for 2016, we bought this gigantic box trailer that we're going around with everything. But logistics it's always been a big part. I mean, trust me, it's not easy. A lot of the times there's a lot of challenges that come up. But we've been lucky enough that through perseverance and stuff, we've always got there. And as you said, this was the big selling point. You know, when we first started this, putting a few events together is something relatively easy to do on paper. But doing a logistic and stuff behind it definitely took some work.
Well, very cool. Thank you so much, Belar. I'm really looking forward to follow the tour along virtually. See who's showing up and how the athletes are doing, and looking forward to all the content and the pictures. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your time. That was good insight.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having us. And follow the tour for the news. Go to the website and send us a message if you have any questions.
Yeah, and on Facebook and everywhere. And if you're still here with this video here, don't forget to give us a quick like, a shout out, and a comment. That always helps. And with this being said, we'll see you guys with the next video. And who knows who's going to